Hey there friends, coming to you from my backyard today as we got some weather rolling in here, so I like to take advantage of the nice weather. Prefer to be outside anyway, but it's nice whenever we don't have that crazy burdensome sun beating down on us with 103 temperature down here in South Louisiana. But you guys will know that earlier today I live streamed the initial reports of the quote school shooting from Appalachia, Georgia. This was Appalachia High School. And last reports, which we didn't have good reports earlier, is that 4 have been killed. Let's see, the report states that at least 4 people were killed and 9 were injured. We don't know if all 9 were injured from the gunfire, but we'll find that out and let you guys know. In many cases, as you guys well know, when they state injured, it could be people running, it could be a twisted ankle, it could be a scratched knee. Not minimizing any kind of injury, but it's certainly not, quote, gun related as what they're trying to imply. That's why they beef those numbers up. They used to not do that. Now they inflate these numbers because the gun control group and the state control media are doing all they can to stigmatize and demonize firearms. So that's why they do that. The higher the numbers, more eyeballs. The suspect is in custody. The Barrow County Sheriff's Office said in a statement. The suspect is a teen. I've heard as young as 14 years old, which means he likely went to the school. And officials are working to determine if they had any affiliation with the school, law enforcement officials said. Of course, Kamala Harris came out immediately and wanted to talk about gun control. We didn't even have, and we were literally live streaming it, and she was talking about things that she didn't know anything about regarding the shooting itself, simply to politicize it. As you guys know, she is no doubt wanting to make this an AR-15 related issue. That's a big deal for her. You have to look at it this way, and I mentioned this in videos probably a couple of months ago, that as we rolled into that stretch, this was at the time when Biden was still the candidate, but I had mentioned that if the candidacy of Biden was still running off in the ditch like it was at the time, it's a total absolute failure. Just like the Harris campaign has a little bit more air in their lungs than Biden did, but it's equally dismal as far as the numbers. Trump is actually winning in all the swing states, battleground states. So I had mentioned with Biden as the candidate that if they rolled into within a month or so of the election, that we would get somehow, coincidentally and oddly enough, a quote mass shooting of some sort, because they would need something to work in their favor to draw attention to what their platform is, which is anti-gun, banning guns. My guess is this is not all that you're going to see, what we saw at Appalachia today. I think that this is like a pinprick of what we're going to see. You're going to see a weird ramp up of these things. Now, I'm not casting any aspersions about who's guilty of initiating these. For or against, I'm not casting aspersions. I'm telling you that weirdly enough, if history continues to repeat itself, these coincidences rear their ugly heads at opportune times for these people to make it political. It always happens. I'm basing this on history, not my opinion. This is simply based on history. In fact, in many areas, especially via the media, it's already being politicized. If you go and look at CNN's website, they have a lot of headlines already talking about this particular shooting. One of them states, the U.S. has endured an average of 1.5 mass shootings every day so far this year, data shows. Well, if the Gun Violence Archive's data was accurate, which it's not, that's what they reference here, but if it was accurate, you could average that out and say, yeah, we have had that. You know how many, quote, mass shootings we've had this year? And this is including the Trump assassination attempt, because they include that as a mass shooting because of why? 4 or more. They don't care about the motive. They don't care why. They don't care how. None of that matters. If a gun were in a community and it was fired one time and it hit a bomb and the bomb blew everybody up, they would call that a mass shooting because a gun was present and more than 4 people were injured, right? So that's how these people think. They make these lies up and they wonder why nobody takes their side. In fact, the Gun Violence Archive, and I'm grateful to know that I've had a lot to do with this, Gun Violence Archive is falling off fast as being the resource that they use to cite their, because ridiculous like this. They cite their mass shootings, 1.5 a day. And the average person, even the anti-gun people, are sitting back scratching their heads going, I didn't hear about all those ones last month. I didn't hear about those 5 or 6 that took place allegedly last week. In fact, I've only heard about a couple. We've had 5 or 6 since January 1st of 2024. They're saying 1.5. Their numbers are so misleading that it stops being an error and becomes a lie. And that's why people aren't on their side. That's why people don't take their side, because they lie about it. If they were truthful, people probably would listen to them. So this is a big deal to them. A school shooting that's like a goose that lays the golden egg. Mass shootings, because most of them happen in inner cities, 2 a.m. in the morning, tennis courts, gangbangers shooting at each other, slinging dope, doing stupid stuff at stupid times of the night. Yeah, let's be real, people. That's not really making much of an impact. Now, they call that a mass shooting. It's not really moving the needle, because the people wake up and go, downtown Baltimore, 2 a.m., 15 people shot, 5 guns were involved, no suspect in custody. Well, we all know what that is. They all know what that is. So the inner city folks, the quote community leaders, are not doing anything to try to improve the conditions of these young people in those areas. They're okay with them shooting at each other because it's not their kids, so they don't care. And it furthers their money, their grant money, and all the little things they can do, the lobbying money that they can get to stand on a pedestal, talk down to you and I, and get their little money, their grant money, and again, their money from the anti-gun enterprise. So the thing is, if they were just talk about the truth, I think it would be enough to move the needle. But whenever you cry wolf 1.5 times a day, people start ignoring you, because they know you're lying. Everybody knows that there's not 1.5 happening a day. Everyone does. Now, I want to say this also. 14-year-old at Appalachia today kills 4 people, 9 others wounded. If you guys have not seen my book, How to Make a Monster, you can get it at howtomakeamonster.com. I specifically talk about these types of people. And look at that weather building up behind me. I specifically talk about these types of people and these types of shootings, because they're always from a broken home, they're always over-medicated, and they're always bullied. You're going to find out this person was captured alive now. Remember that. That's a kind of a big deal, because these people usually expect to go down in a hail of gunfire by suicide by a cop, or they take their own lives. This one was captured alive, and I don't even know if they were injured, but they were definitely captured alive. So they're going to get information out of them. They're going to say they were bullied. Mark my word. The numbers don't lie. The Venn diagram that that Kamala Harris likes so much, the Venn diagram intersects in my book. It's over-medicated kids, broken homes, and they are definitely bullied in most cases. I'm not saying any of those are an excuse. I'm not saying any one of those makes you a, quote, mass shooter or a school shooter. However, every one of the previous mass shooters and school shooters did fall into that category of those 3. Every single one. All these politicians and all these talking heads on TV, what are we going to do about it? When's enough enough? Blah. They tell us all this crap, throwing it back on us. I did the work. I did the legwork to try to figure out what the problem was. I've offered my book to all these anti-gun groups. I've offered it to all these media agencies. Once they hear what it's about, and once they hear that I did the actual work on what the root cause is, and then they hear what the root cause is, and they realize it's not about blaming guns or gun owners, they want nothing to do with it. It's not interesting to them anymore. Well, that doesn't further my political career. That doesn't further my political gains. How am I going to talk about that at the water cooler at work? That makes perfectly too much sense. I can't demonize a gun if I'm actually looking at the true root cause of what made this person, this human being, arrive at the conclusion to take another human's life. I can't demonize a gun by doing that. So they're not interested. They purposely lose interest because it's not within the agenda that they are trying to further. If you want to go get my book, How to Make a Monster, it's really done well, guys. I encourage you to take a look at it. A lot of people have read it. A lot of good reviews. Go check out the reviews on Amazon. You might be surprised. I was shocked that of all places on anti-gun Amazon, that the reviews are overwhelmingly positive. So check the reviews out before you buy the book. This person, this 14-year-old at Appalachia High School in Georgia, you watch. They will fall into all the categories that I just named. Once again, it's defined. I even have solutions of what we can do. First thing we could do, harden these damn schools. I'm so tired of people saying, how many kids is enough? Whenever you leave the front door unlocked, you surround this school with glass, no fencing, no alarms, no metal detectors. You know where you're not seeing, quote, school shootings at? In every single school that has a metal detector and an armed guard at it. Name one that has had a school shooting where you cannot access the inside of the school. If you can't be in the school, you can't shoot the children in the damn school.
I don't understand the point that you're making.
God save the Queen, man.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America. It's over.